Welcome back, baseball fans, as we continue our Legends in the Making playthrough. We are in the mid-1950s. We just wrapped up another World Series title in 1954. We went through the awards, and now we are getting ready for the first-year player draft in 1955. As you saw at the end of the last episode, we've got some heavy hitters in this one that are showing up, and eventually our heavy hitters, like Greenberg at 43, Campanella at 38, Sorrell is at 34. Musial's up to 30. He's fine. But Monte Irvin's at 35. Phil Rizzuto's at 37. Majeski's at 37. We're going to be losing some of our heavy guys soon. So hopefully things will look on the up and up, even though we're drafting at the end every time. Now, we did make one trade. Ball player Gonzalez. We've been tracking him, and we took him. We needed a little bit more pitching. He's not an ace or anything in the bullpen, but we needed more to solidify stuff. So we traded away Chico Fernandez, Jack Cremian, and Bob Miller to take on our 31-year-old ball player Gonzalez. To put him, he's a two-time reliever of the year. We're going to hope he does his job in the bullpen for us. We'll see how he pans out. But with that being said, let's get to the first-year player draft. And look at this. We are not drafting last. Now, the White Sox get a second compensation pick, unfortunately, which is going to move us out of contention for even more people. But Bob Allison, Norm Cash, Sandy Koufax, Orlando Cepeda, Brooks Robinson. If he's there, I want to get Clete Boyer because we have Ken Boyer. And these two I saw in one of the load screens. Clete and Ken are the only two brothers who have homered in the same World Series game. So if we can get them, that would be awesome. But Luis Aparicio is down here. There's some names that we could pull from. We're not going to get any of the best ones. I don't know how these other teams have not caught up with us. So Bill Monboquet is who they're expecting us to take in the draft, which wouldn't be that bad of a pitcher, a 20-game winner in the 60s for Boston. Okay, so let's see how the first part of this starts off. Pittsburgh's drafting at the back yet again, which it's like, I don't know how they haven't. They'll get it eventually. They got Clemente last time, so we'll see if they take Koufax like they should. They are going to take Koufax, so they're going to be just fine soon. Baltimore's going to take Storm Norman Cash. Bob Ellison goes to the Phillies. The White Sox get Orlando Cepeda. The Yankees get Johnny Romano. Brooks Robinson, the human vacuum cleaner, is going to Brooklyn Dodgers. Washington takes Leon Daddy Wags Wagner. Great nickname. Boston Red Sox take Lindy McDaniel. Stan Big Daddy Williams goes to the Kansas City Athletics. We have had a move. The Cubs are going to take Joe Christopher. What a lame name. Cincinnati Redlegs are going to take Bill Monboquet, so he's not going to fall to us. The Giants take Claude Raymond. Bob Johnson goes to the Milwaukee Braves. Detroit Tigers take off Lenny Green. The White Sox take Wayne Cossey. And we are recommended to take Jack Kralik, but he's there. I don't care if he turns out to be amazing or not. Solid player. Played for a long time for the Yankees in Atlanta and Kansas City. We're going to take Clete so we can have the two brothers, Clete and Ken. There we go. Now we'll jump ahead to the beginning of the 1955 season. Opening day has arrived for 1955, and we are going up against our rival, the Chicago Cubs, again. Our lineup basically is going to be Ken Boyer getting a chance to start. He was listed in the top 10 prospects again, and now he gets a shot. He's excited that his brothers joined the organization as well. Monte Irvin's going to be our main guy, second. Center field, Stan Musial in left. Hank Greenberg at 44 years old is continuing to go. He hit 400th home run. He's approaching Gehrig's 410 for us, but I don't think he's going to get there because he had 50 home runs before we traded for him. Furillo is batting in fifth. Bonnie Sorrell is going to be hitting sixth at second base. Campanella is going to be down there. This might change again. If Campanella's driving in the runs open from back here, we'll leave him in seventh. And then Phil Rizzuto is there for defense and leadership because he's starting to really struggle and slip. We just don't have anybody else. Dandridge will share time with him. Majeski will share time with him. We'll see how this one turns out. Early Wynn's going to be our number one starter, Cy Young winner, followed by Robin Roberts, followed by Warren Spahn, and then Sal Magley. Hopefully a solid rotation. We have a thin bullpen. This is all we've got to start. Emilio Couche, Dave Barnhill, still around with us at 41 years old. Steve Gromek, ball player Gonzalez, and Hoyt Wilhelm. We might have to do some changes around here. We will see. Oh, Joe Nuxhall is on waivers. Interesting. He's done okay. I mean, in reality, this was more of a name that I just recognize than anything, so I won't go for him. Sorry, I caught that. I was like, oh, interesting. And we see Luke Easter is out there on the trading block at 39 years old. Let's check out the Hall of Fame results before we go in the season. Hilton Smith on his 5th year. We don't see this very often, but he led the league in wins once, games started, strikeouts, whip, batting average, WAR twice, 229 wins, 1,500 strikeouts, 3.32 ERA. He did win a Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young, 6-time All-Star, got a Silver Slugger Award. In reality, we don't know how he did because he was a Negro League player, but I'm interesting that he got in after 5 years. So Red Ruffing, there's a shot for you still. Turkey Stearns, there's a chance. Thornton Lee moved up a little bit. Cool Papa Bell at 20%, I think, is up slightly. So we'll see. There may be some less deserving players coming in. This is a smaller group, but we'll check it out. I am also excited that the minor leagues are starting to drop down, so I'm hoping the end of the season will go a little smoother for me. The new computer has helped with that, but I'm hoping this will help process it even more. So with all that being said, let's get ready to see how the first half plays out. All right, at the All-Star break in 1955, it is a race. We are 3.5 games back. We are in 4th place. The Reds, Braves, Dodgers, and then us. It is a 4-team race by far. Again, in the AL, it is a 4-team race, with the Tigers kind of on the outside looking in, but they've won 6 in a row to get there. But the Senators are a 9-game win streak in a row. Gil Hodges, Minnie Minoso, Ted Williams are doing their thing. Don Newcomb's there, Connie Johnson. Hal Newhouser is their closer, 14 saves. Interesting. So let's see where we are halfway through. Alvin Dark is leading the AL with 322 average. George Crowe with 22 home runs. He's already bested his last season. Duke Snyder at 22. Eddie Matthews is nowhere to be found. Eddie's got 18, so he's not doing horrible. He's just not what he was last season. RBI's going to Ted Williams and then Kiner. 71 RBI. Minnie Minoso, 14 stolen bases. That's ticking up a little bit. Duke Snyder with a 1.009 OPS. The WAR goes to Minnie Minoso at 5.6. Alvin Dark with a 20-game hitting streak. Eddie had a 16. Harvey Haddix, a 2.4 ERA. Now, Haddix, he's the guy who pitched I think, 12, 13-inning no-hitter only to lose because they kept going at extra innings and he didn't actually win that game, and he eventually gave up a hit. Whitey Ford is 2.62 right there. Billy Pierce, 13 wins. He's 3rd in ERA. He's 2nd in strikeouts, but Herb Score is again mowing them down. 3.41 ERA for him. He's doing much better. Kansas City's up in 2nd as well. We do not want to face them. We may not need to worry about it, though, either. The saves go to Jim Wilson at 15. Hal Newhouser is up there. Billy Pierce, 5.2 pitcher WAR. Now, for the NL, Carl Furillo with 3.44 average like he did 2 years ago. Well done, sir. Wally Post, who we traded away to Milwaukee, 23 home runs. He's leading the league. How is Hank Bauer? Hank Bauer has slowed down, so maybe we did a good job of getting him. I mean, we got Robin Roberts, so we're doing fine. Dale Long with 75 RBIs. He's got 21 home runs as well. Jim Gilliam with 13 stolen bases. We're a little slower here in the NL. OPS is going to Mickey Mantle, followed by Mickey Vernon, and then Stan Musial. Lots of M's in this one. Mantle has the batter WAR at 4.3. Hitting streak. Klazuski is on an active 18-game hitting streak. He's about to pass Furillo potentially. Frank Sullivan has a 2.43 ERA leading the league. He also is leading the league with 14 wins for Milwaukee. Spahn is up there with 12. Bob Turley has 129 strikeouts, well above Bob Grimm. Ray Narleski has 16 saves. And then Bob Rush with a 3.6 pitcher WAR. Now, when we look at the All-Stars, in the AL, got Lefty Bogan, Lino Donoso, Whitey Ford, Garcia Haddix, some familiar names here, but Billy Pierce is getting the start. It is his 3rd All-Star game. He did win the Cy Young back in 1951. Smokey Owens, that's a great pitcher name. Clem Levine, Don Mossy, Yogi Berra, no surprise, continuing his stellar career. Smokey Burgess. Berra has hit 273, 13 home runs there. 2-4 WAR. Smokey Burgess has the higher WAR, but he is not the fan's choice. First base goes to Tommy Heinrich. Joe Adcock is probably arguably having a better season. Oh, no, he doesn't in WAR, though. Marvin Williams at second base. Ray Boone. Eddie Matthews at third. Johnny Logan at short. Ralph Kiner, Dusty Rhodes. Ted Williams is beating out the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and Ralph Kiner. Duke Snyder at center field, continuing to do his thing for Kansas City. And Minnie Minoso for Washington. So Washington is doing well as well. In the NL, Bob Buell, Robin Roberts for us, Warren Spahn for us, Early Win for us, also getting the start. Well done, Early. Sandy Consuegra, Dobson Potter, Campanella, Stan Lapata is beating him out though, but Campanella is again an all-star. Look at this. That is a heck of a run. 13-time all-star selection, 6-time Silver Slugger, 10-time Gold Glove, 5 champions. No MVPs on his resume though. Who else we have? Kim Boyer getting the all-star game. His first season up in the big leagues. He is hitting .318, 9 stolen bases, 37 RBI as our leadoff. He's scored 48 times, 816 OPS, 3-1 WAR. So good job. Nobody's driving him in like they need to, though. Jackie shows up again at third base. Al Rosen gets to start, though. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Stan Musial again as a starter, having another stellar season. Willie Mays again, beating out Mickey Mantle. Carl Furillo beating out Wally Post. I'm glad Post is getting a chance to do his thing, and Carl Furillo is as well now because it's not as crowded of a outfield. So it's going to be a tight one. As you can see, our pitching's been struggling. We are not doing nearly as well this season. We did bring up Lou Burdett, but that's not helping us at all. Offensively, we're not doing as well either, so we've got to figure out something. I moved Dandridge because Rizzuto was messing up. They're rotating. I'm kind of just wanting to see if Dandridge can get to the 3,000 hits. I really hope he does. Maybe that'll put him over the line and let him have a shot at the Hall of Fame. Probably not, but we'll see. And hopefully we'll be in the World Series again, but I think this season is going to be a lot tougher unless we can pull something out of some magic out of a hat here. Well, the season didn't end as we were hoping. We finished 12 games behind the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was a struggle. We had some injuries with Early Win and Sal Magley. Just couldn't get it going. We finished with above 500 record, but finishing in fourth place, one of our worst results. Brooklyn went up against Cleveland, and in the World Series, Brooklyn did win. It was their third championship, first since 1944. Cleveland still has not won a championship in our simulation, but it was Brooklyn under Granny Hamner getting the victory in 5 games, 4-1. They were close ones. Everything was 2 runs or less. Now, when we wrap up and see how things shook out as far as the statistics go, in the AL, Bill Skulron with a .318 average beat out Alvin Dark and Billy Kloss. Joe Adcock and Duke Snyder, both 37 home runs. Eddie Matthews with 35. So we are seeing the power numbers really start to shoot up now. Ted Williams at 115 RBIs. Joe DiMaggio back in it at 110, had a .314 average. What I'm also seeing is, since I turned off that they retire at the actual time they retired, is if their last real season was pretty solid the last couple seasons, these guys go until they're like 45. So some of these numbers are getting really big, such as Josh Gibson, who is still playing and had 31 home runs on a .233 average. So he has passed the 700 home run mark, coming up on 2,500 RBI. It's insane what he is able to do. So in the stolen bases category, Minnie Minoso with 23, Ted Williams 1 OPS, batter WAR 9.1 for Minnie Minoso. Alvin Dark had the higher hitting streak with 20. Harvey Haddix at a 2.35 ERA. Billy Pierce with 23 wins as well as a 2.61 ERA and 264 strikeouts. He got close challenging Herb's scores, 283. Herb had a solid year again. Look at that, 1/3 of an inning difference in his innings pitched, but his walks came way down while strikeouts went way up. Good for him. Don Mossy and Jim Wilson both had 20 saves with Hal Newhouser right behind him, and Billy Pierce with a 9.2 pitcher WAR. In the NL, Red Schoendice ran away with the batting average title, but Carl Furillo with 319 was second. Home runs, Dale Long hit 40. Wally posted up with 36, but Hammer and Hank Greenberg with 34. He also had 109 RBI. He's having, again, it's that late run. I don't know if he's going to retire soon or not. He's 44, but that power number, and I mean, he's on base 37% of the time because he led the league in walks and strikeouts, but we will ignore that. Dale Long had 128 RBI as well. Willie Mays was in second. Jim Gilliam with 19 stolen bases. Mickey Mantle with a 1.012 OPS also led the league in batter war with 8-8. Klaczewski had a 20-game hitting streak. Hank Bauer has a 17-1 that he ended the season on. ERA went to Bob Buell, a 2.4. Early win was short, close behind. Buell also won 19 games, but came in second in strikeouts behind Bob Turley. Saves went to Ray Narleski, followed by Hirsch Freeman. We had Wilhelm getting 19. Bob Rush got the pitcher war with a 6-1. Now that's where we finished. Musial hitting below 300. Kim Boyer had a solid season. I think he's got a shot at Rookie of the Year. We struggled at shortstop. Ray Dandridge did get his 3,000th hit. We had him playing shortstop for quite a while. He didn't do all that great, hitting 234, but I wanted him to get to 3,000 hits, so he's not going to make the Hall of Fame, even though he has a 300 average and 3,000 hits, because he just doesn't have the awards and he doesn't have the accolades here to get in. But we were ready for the first-year player draft. Oh, we did have a retirement. Hank Majeski retired after winning 4 Gold Gloves, 6 championships, 1 All-Star selection. He does have some Hall of Fame metrics. He hit 272, a 19.5 WAR, 600 RBI, 83 home runs, 1,400 hits, 599 runs. He's not going to get in, but he'll at least be eligible to get some votes. Now we look at the draft, and the draft in this one does have quite a bit of potential. We have, we don't want this one. I like seeing the batting potential. Willie McCovey, Felipe Alou, Orlando Cepeda, who I believe, so he was drafted and failed to sign after being drafted 4th overall. George Altman, Jim Hickman, Kurt Flood. Not a lot of other names showing up. Jim Perry, that's not... Oh, yeah, was he Gaylord Perry's brother, maybe? I feel like they're related with each other. No one else really showing up, drawing attention as far as that goes. But we are drafting a little higher up, so it might be somebody that we can stumble upon. You can see the draft order. We're drafting 12th. That's good news for us. And with that, let's start the draft. First draft, Pittsburgh again picking first. Willie McCovey. Okay, they have McCovey. They have Clemente. They have Koufax. I don't know how they stay this bad. Clemente's starting to, he got to come up for 79 games. Koufax, I thought, pitched. He did. So he'll get it together. Al Smith at 27 is doing well. Well, McCovey. So they will have a nice run if they can put together these players. We'll see. Chicago White Sox take Tommy Davis. Cepeda goes to the Red Sox. Felipe Alou to the Phillies. Jim Hickman goes to the White Sox. Big George Altman goes to the Giants. The Cubs take Gary Peters. Darren Johnson to the Orioles. Jimmy Hall to the Yankees. Juan Pizarro to the Athletics. The Tigers get Mo Dabrowski. And now we get a chance to pick, and I think we will go for Kurt Flood because he was a Cardinal. Not a big-time power guy, but he is going to give us some defense. He's going to give us some average. Vada Pinson is the other one that I was looking at being a red, and he's going to give us power. He's going to give us average. Maybe we should go with Vada Pinson. He's going to give us the outfield stuff as well. So I think we're going to go with him. We will meet his demand. Let's see what the rest of the first round had. Washington's going to take Kurt Flood. Jim Perry goes to the Braves. Jack Balchin to the Athletics. The Redlegs take Stan Big Daddy Williams. Don Mincher for Cleveland, and the Dodgers take Gene Oliver. So that takes us through the first round. We're going to jump ahead to check out the awards and Hall of Fame results as we get ready for the 1956 season. All right, we are ready for opening day against Cincinnati, kicking off 1956. Before we do, let's take a look at some Hall of Fame voting results. Archie Vaughn and Bill Dickey both get in on their first years. Cool Papa Bell for us dropped all the way back to just 6.5%. Lots of guys getting dropped off in their first year, like Dizzy Trout. I mean, these guys never. Schoolboy Rowe, Rudy York after third year, Johnny Niggling after fourth. Wade Hoyt couldn't get in. Errol Averill couldn't. So Bill Dickey was able to get in. He had a lot of All-Stars, Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers, ended up with 165 home runs, 2,700 hits, 1,400 and RBI, 1,200 runs, which is way better than he did in reality because, again, he played a few extra years and he had the war years as well. Archie Vaughn, he finished with 2,895 hits, 1,100 RBIs, 1,500 runs, 295 average, 200 stolen bases. Way more hits, more runs, more RBI because, again, he did not have to miss these war years there. Played a little bit more, got a little bit more playing time. Thornton Lee's not looking good for us. Johnny Vandermeer on his first year. So Red Ruffing, I'm still shocked he hasn't got in. He really, really should. I guess he doesn't have the awards to get him up and over there. I did want to save this before we look at the awards. Pittsburgh, I forgot, also has Frank Robinson. Now, who is hurt still for another 4 weeks. But if Pittsburgh doesn't put something together soon, they got Vic Wertz here. They got Roberto Clemente. They've got Koufax back here. Bob Friend. I mean, they've got a team. This is where, with Frank Robinson coming up, they better start putting something together. And they got Cepeda getting ready to show up. So we'll see how that goes. Now let's take a look at the awards before we look at what we will be doing as far as our lineup, trying to get back to the World Series goes. In the AL, Gold Gloves went to Mike Garcia, Ken O'Day, Joe Adcock, Artie Wilson, Hank Thompson, Buster Clarkson, Charlie Maxwell. That was our guy. We traded him away. Who did we get for him? Bonnie Sorrell, that's right. Oh, not missing much behind the plate, but he got a Gold Glove. Good job for Charlie. Jim King and Minnie Minoso. In the NL, early win. Roy Campanella getting back on it. Vic Power, Gil McDougald, Al Rosen, Sam Dente, Richie Ashburn, Willie Mays, and Al Kaline. Reliever of the year in the AL went to Don Mossy, Clem Labine. We tried to claim him on waivers. Boston got him instead, unfortunately. And he had a pretty solid season. Mossy with 20 saves, 8-4 record, 2.43 ERA, gets it. NL reliever went to Ray Narleski unanimously. 27 saves, 3.02 ERA, 5 wins. It's deserved. Silver Sluggers go to Don Newcomb, Sherm Lolar, Bill Scoron, Billy Klaus, Eddie Matthews, Alvin Dark, Ted Williams again, Duke Snyder, and Minnie Minoso. NL Sluggers go to Alex Kellner. Hit .311 as a pitcher. Stan Lapata beating out Campanella and Gibson. Dale Long, Red Schoendice, Al Rosen, Ernie Banks. Stan Musial gets again Mickey Mantle, 34 home runs, and Wally Post with 36 home runs. Rookie of the year in the AL went to Stan Jock, 265 average, 13 home runs, and 50 RBIs. Fine first opening season for him, beating out Jim King, 14-2 in first place votes. Ken Boyer for us, picking up 13 first place votes, taking home a well-deserved title, 13 stolen bases to add to it, 410. So not the most OPS, but he'll get there. And he scored a lot of runs for us, 88 runs scored. Cy Young goes to Billy Pierce unanimously, and based on everything we said as far as statistics go, he was the rightful one. Him and Harvey Haddix are both leading Cleveland and Whitey Ford. Expect to see that rotation get back into the World Series this year. In the NL, Bob Turley beats out Bob Buell. Early win, got another vote. So we were still around there, but Milwaukee Braves had 3 guys up here, so expect them to be challenging as well. Minnie Minoso gets the MVP over Eddie Matthews for the Washington Senators. I mean, look, they also have 2 top MVP guys. Cleveland is ready to go for a while, it looks like. But Minnie Minoso, well done, well deserved. He's doing really well. Mickey Mantle picks up unanimously the NL MVP with 34 home runs, only 88 RBI. Willie Mays with 117 RBI couldn't beat him out, but both of them are deserving of that. Highest we had up there was Hank Greenberg, who's getting points still. And so when we look at our main lineup, we'll be sending Ken Boyer out, Bonnie Sorrell, Hank Greenberg, Hammer and Hank. Hopefully he might make a run at Lou Gehrig's team record of 410 home runs. Monty Irvin did pass to get games played at 2,200. I don't know if anybody else is getting close on these others. Stan Musial is probably going to get there in hits. He's got to be getting close. Yeah, he's at 2,581. So he's probably going to pass him in hits. Not going to get there in home runs, though. That's for sure. Roy Sievers, this is his year to have a big one potentially. Carl Furillo, Roy Campanella, and then Phil Rizzuto, who's there just because we don't have anybody else there. Our rotation is going to be Early Wynn, Warren Spahn, Sal Magley, and Robin Roberts. We might bring in Dave Barnhill again. Hoyt Wilhelm will be our closer, our stopper. So that's where we're at. Hopefully we're going to bounce back from last year's disappointing season to get back into the World Series and make it number 18 and number 11 as far as appearances and World Series victories. But we'll find out as we get closer to the All-Star break. Well, at the All-Star break, we are struggling again to find our way. We're doing fine. We're in 4th. We need to catch up. We are 3 games out. It's a 5-team race with the Cubs 5 games out. The Dodgers are leading the way. They've got Al Kaline, Hank Aaron, who is crushing it, Dale Long. They're all leading the way. Bob Turley is with them. So they're doing well. We can't find our footing. The Senators are leading in the AL by 3 games. It looks like it's turning into a 2-team race over here. But when we look at the leaders, AL, we have Minnie Minoso with batting 340. Ted Williams is up there at 330 and 16 home runs. He is getting closer to the 500 mark. Definitely going to pass 3,000 hits. 2,200 walks. That's insane. Joe Adcock has 23 home runs along with Eddie Matthews. Again, the power numbers are showing up. Bill Skowron with 70 RBI. Minnie Minoso with 17 stolen bases. He is getting those stolen bases now. He's not been hitting the 30s, but he's, starting to pick up a little bit there. We'll see. Will things start to open up on the base running? Eddie Matthews is leading OPS over Ted Williams. Eddie Matthews is leading in batter WAR with 4.6. Willie Miranda had a 21-game hitting streak. Dick Donovan with a 3.04 ERA. This is a higher ERA than we've been seeing for the leaders. Connie Johnson and Johnny Padres both have 13 wins. Herb Score again leading the way in strikeouts. Not doing as well on ERA, but he's getting more wins. So Kansas City is doing just fine there. Billy Odell has 12 saves. Johnny Padres with a 4.3 pitcher WAR. He had a good season last year too. So at 23, he's doing well. In the NL, Hank Aaron's batting 350. Wally Post has 26 home runs. Hammer and Hank Greenberg has 23 home runs and 58 RBI. He's only hitting 233, but his OPS is really still solid. It's better than last year when he was hitting for a higher average. So we can't complain. He's driving in runs and he's scoring runs. Speaking of that, he's 3rd in RBI behind tied with Ernie Banks and behind Wally Post. So Post is having he gets to have his prime with somebody else. Unfortunately, it's with Milwaukee, who's ahead of us. Johnny Temple has 14 stolen bases. There's Willie Mays in 2nd. Mickey Mantle is leading in OPS by quite a bit over Hank Aaron. He's also leading with a 5.1 batter WAR over Willie Mays. 28-game hitting streak for Hank Aaron before it was ended. ERA right now is with Jim Bunning, so it looks like the NL is where the pitching's at with Bunning, Fowler, and Johnny Wright all under 3. Art Fowler has 13 wins. Early Wynn has 96 strikeouts to lead the way. Don Besant with 16 saves. We're seeing more and more saves, but we're still not anybody breaking into the 30s yet. And Warren Spahn is behind Art Fowler for WAR. Now, when you look at our lineup, Ken Boyer's having another solid season. Musial's hitting the ball better. We have moved Frank Thomas into the lineup. Monte Irvin's in the lineup. Ferrillo was really struggling, just like Campanella is, and Rizzuto. So we are going to need to make some changes soon. Our pitching is struggling. We don't have anybody ready to step up. Ron Klein, maybe, but that's a small sample size to replace Magley. So we're in some, some struggles. We're back to earth. Our dominant run looks like it's ending, and we're going to have to rebuild. Now, when it comes to the all-star teams, Whitey Ford's there, Harvey Haddix, but the start is going to Billy Pierce after a fantastic season last year. We also have Billy Odell. Smokey Burgess is beating out Yogi Berra this time for the start. Bill Scarum beats out Adcock and Heinrich. Marvin Williams at second. Eddie Matthews at third. Johnny Logan at short. Ted Williams in left field, beating out our former player Charlie Maxwell. Then we have Minnie Minoso in center and Jackie Jensen at right. That's his second one. In the NL, for us, we've got Warren Spahn and Early Wynn, who picks up the start. Art Fowler also makes it. Nels Potter for relief. Josh Gibson, 14 home runs. He is continuing to do it at 720 home runs for the career. Hank Greenberg gets a start for us. Al Rosen at third. Ernie Banks at short. Hank Aaron in left. Mickey Mantle is center. Musial's back on there. So is Mays and Al Kaline in right field, getting the start over Wally Post. So that's where we're at. You can see Frank Robinson has made it up to the majors, hitting 281 in 56 games so far. Killebrew has not yet. Norm Cash hasn't. So these others we're still waiting on. But I would imagine Pittsburgh to start getting these wins going with Robinson and Clemente, Vic Wertz. Koufax is not in the starting rotation yet, but I don't think he got there until, not really until we get to 59, 60. It was in the 60s that he has his magical run. Now, here's the thing. After this, does this mean he's going to keep pitching and be dominant? Which is why we're going to try to trade for him time and time again until maybe we get lucky and sell the farm to get him. We'll find out. But let's see how the rest of this season plays out as we move to the pennant and hopefully find ourselves in the World Series again. Well, the season did not end up as we were hoping. 1956 ended up much like 1955. So instead of 85-69, we ended up 84-70, one game worse. Finishing in fourth place again, the Milwaukee Braves, led by Wally Post, our former guy, Mickey Mantle, Cass Michaels, who we shipped to the Yankees and then made his way over there, and Hank Bauer, all a part of it. So we helped them out immensely, giving them 3. And Don Drysdale also leading their way. So they are in a good position. We struggled down the stretch. Kim Boyer had another fine year. Musial had another fine year. Hank Greenberg only got 45 home runs. That is a career high for him. His previous high was, I believe, 39. And that was a long time ago, 1938. So 20 years ago. So he is doing fantastic at the end here. Frank Thomas at 303 for us. But yeah, we just could not. We put Mazeroski in at the end to get him a little cup of coffee there for the last 9 games. But wasn't meant to be. We struggled in pitching. We struggled in everything for the most part. Runs against, so we were first because our defense was excellent, but the offense just was not clicking. So when we see it was Milwaukee going against the Senators, Ted Williams finally making it. And when we look at the team history, this was the first trip since 1930 when they won it all for the Washington Senators. And for the Braves, their first trip since 1933. They haven't won in our simulation. Now, it went to 6 games, and the Senators did win with the MVP going to Ted Williams, the Splendid Splinter. 2 home runs, hit 500, drove in 6. Gil Hodges had a massive 10 RBIs as well in the series. And Don Newcomb pitched well. Hal Newhouser came in several times to get a couple saves, if I remember correct. There was one right there, but he pitched in other situations to help close it out. So the Senators getting their second championship, first one since 1930. Now to wrap this up before we go into the offseason, let's take a look at the leaders. In the AL, batting average went to Gene Woodling at 320. Eddie Matthews was close behind, almost getting the Triple Crown because he won with 46 home runs, beating Adcock and Kiner, quite a gap between 2 and 3. Matthews also had 127 RBI, so he was so close. Now, he is on a really hot streak 3 times already since 1952. 3 out of 5 years he's hit 40. 1, 2, 3, 4. He hit 3 out of 5 years there. So he's about on track with his real life numbers. Stolen bases went to Minnie Minoso again, head and shoulders above the rest. OPS was Eddie Matthews. WAR was Eddie Matthews. Willie Miranda with the hitting streak of 21. Again, Eddie Matthews was up there in third. ERA title goes to Johnny Rigney, which is the highest we have seen in quite a while, barely beating out Mike Garcia. Joe Nuxhall and Billy Pierce each had 21 wins. We almost made that trade for Nuxhall as well. Maybe we should have. Herb Score, 279 strikeouts. Again, head and shoulders above second place. But this is where it's going to be interesting because when we look at his real life stats, he didn't start. He just did 5 games. Then I believe he got hurt in 57. And then we start to see him tail off quite a bit. And his K to 9 drops after 58. So he might have another good season or two. And then this is where I'm going to be interested to see once 58 hits. But he's been pitching since 54, so he started early. Then we have our saves going to Marv Grissom and Clem Labine, both at 22, barely beating out Newhouser. And Johnny Padres, 6.7 pitcher WAR. While on our side in the NL, Hank Aaron, 346 for Mickey Mantle, 334. Musial, 311, sneaking in there in third. But look at this. Hank Greenberg leading the league with 45 home runs, beating out Mickey Mantle. The RBI title goes to Willie Mays, though, barely beating out Mantle again, who finished a Triple Crown second place this season. Greenberg had third, and that one with 114. Stolen bases go to Johnny Temple, 25. Phil Rizzuto did run the bases fairly well. He started really slow with the bat, and that's why we finally, when we were eliminated, put Mazeroski in. And the OPS went to Mantle, while the WAR also with 11.1, massive number. And Hank Aaron had the hitting streak at 28. ERA 2.52 for Warren Spahn. Early win was third. We just could not get the offense going. But they did top the wins at 22. And early win with 190 strikeouts. So he was just shy of getting the Triple Crown for pitching. He'll have a shot at the Cy Young, though. Don Besant with 25 saves. And Warren Spahn with an 8.3 pitcher WAR. So we head into this offseason with 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with a better record than us, which means we will be drafting more in the late middle of the draft. We are getting close to having new expansion teams coming in here soon as well, so that's going to make things a little bit more interesting. Pittsburgh, notice, is starting to get things going. Frank Robinson and Roberto Clemente and Sandy Koufax are going to certainly start to take this team places fairly soon, especially as they keep getting good draft picks. But we'll see where the next one takes us as we go into the offseason to come back for the draft and the awards. All right, it is time for the first-year player draft and offseason news so far. Greenberg, Hammer and Hank did decide to hang up his cleats there at 45 years old. He ended up with 489 home runs, 1,927 RBI, 2,600 hits, a 280 average, an 85 WAR. I mean, he had these years here, the Warriors, he was still here, but he barely played because he wasn't any good during these years. But then he came back, struggled, and then all of a sudden he just took off post-war. So he was what we wanted him to be again in 1936. He wasn't anything for us. And it's amazing how he just changed everything. But he ends up getting 1 MVP, 1 Rookie of the Year, 1 Gold Glove, 7 Silver Sluggers, 7-time championship winner, and 9 All-Star selections. He is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So congratulations there, Hank. We did also finally make a trade. We traded away Don Blazingham for Bob Friend. So we took this away from the Pirates. We needed pitching help. We're going to hope he's going to do what he has done the last season and build off of that because we needed to get some. We'll see. This rotation might change by the time we get to the beginning of the year. But when we look at the awards for the offseason, we will see if we have any new things popping up. So let's start with, where are we at? AL Gold Gloves go to Mike Garcia again. What is that, 4 or 5? 6 of them. Man. Ken O'Day, Joe Adcock, Artie Wilson, Hank Thompson, Buster Clarkson, Charlie Maxwell, Jim King, and Minnie Minoso. In the NL, we have early win. Roy Campanella winning another one 12 times now. He is a shoe-in Hall of Famer. Early win has won his third one. He is dominating right now. Big Power with his one at first base. Gil McDougald, Al Rosen, Sam Dente, Richie Ashburn, Willie Mays, and Al Kaline. AL reliever of the year goes to Don Mossy, beating out Clem Labine. Mossy ended up with just 3 saves and 4-4 record, 3.76 ERA, which is interesting that he was able to beat out Clem Labine for that one. Top NL reliever unanimously goes to Ray Narleski with his 9 saves, 3-8 record. These are some interesting voting going on. AL Silver Sluggers go to Don Newcomb, who hit 5 home runs and 3.22 average as a pitcher. Sherm Lawler, Bill Skowron, Billy Klaus, Eddie Matthews. Wait, he didn't hit 277. We're back too far. Let's try this again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are ready for the first-year player draft, and we are about to go into the awards as well. Before we do, want to take a look. We did have Hank Greenberg retire, finally at 45 years old after having his best home run year for us. Ended up with 1,900 RBI, 489 home runs. One more year, he would have hit the 500, 2,600 hits, 280 average. I think 45 seems to be the magic number for some of these guys to retire. Gibson's only 44, so he's still going. We also made a trade where Bob Friend is now a St. Louis Cardinal. We traded away Don Blasingham because we have Bonnie Sorrell still, and we have Mazeroski behind him, and we have Ken Boyer and Cleet Boyer all coming up. So I felt like we could pass off a second baseman to try to solidify this pitching because we've got Dave Barnhill that's getting up there in age, Warren Spahn, early win, not Robin Roberts, Sal Magley, especially, they're all getting up there in age. So I'm a little worried that we're going to need to build up because pitching is important and we need to make sure we have the pitching. And Bob Friend had a fantastic year for Pittsburgh. Hopefully this will hurt them because we didn't give them a bat. We gave them a glove, but not really much of a bat. When we look at the major awards for the offseason, we will come here to the Gold Glove winners. Mike Garcia wins another one. That is his 6th. He's doing great. Ken O'Day, Bob Boyd, Artie Wilson, Hank Thompson wins another one. His 2nd, I believe, in a row. Johnny Logan, Bob Neiman, Jim King, and Ted Strong. We always get some new names in these Gold Gloves. Early Win wins another one. His 3rd. Campanella wins his 12th. Surefire Hall of Famer here for Campanella. He's struggling. We need to find a catcher to replace him. At 40 years old, he's not got a lot left. Vic Power, Gil McDougald, Leon Kelman, Roy McMillan, Richie Ashburn, Willie Mays again, and Al Kaline again. 2 in a row, I believe, for him. Richie Ashburn has 6. And McDougald has 3. Yeah, he's been doing well. AL reliever of the year goes to Billy Odell, beating out Hal Newhouser. Odell had 19 saves and a 1.91 ERA. In the NL, Bob Grimm beat out Don Besant. So his 18 saves, 2.66 ERA, beat out the 25 save, 2.76 Don Besant. Silver Sluggers in the AL go to Johnny Padres, Smokey Burgess, Joe Adcock, Bobby Doerr, Eddie Matthews, monster year. Johnny Logan, Ted Williams, of course. What is this for him? This is his 18th. Insane. Minnie Minoso and Jackie Jensen. In the NL goes to Hal Brown, Stan Lapata, Hank Greenberg, walking away with one. Gil McDougald, Al Rosen, Ernie Banks, hammering Hank Aaron. He's going to be insane. Mickey Mantle and Al Kaline. We have AL Rookie of the Year going to Johnny Roseboro. Then we've got Joe beating out Joe DeMastri, but a unanimous one for Johnny Roseboro. 20 home runs, 61 RBI, 258 average as a catcher. In the NL, Frank Robinson is going to get this. Now, I forgot Pittsburgh also has, I believe, Orlando Cepeda coming up through the ranks as well. So they are loaded. I'm glad we took at least somebody away from them. But Frank Robinson gets the Rookie of the Year. Finally not hurt and be able to play. Cy Young in the AL goes to Billy Pierce. Johnny Podres got one vote, but Herb Score finishing second. Billy Pierce got another fantastic season for him. In the NL, Warren Spahn with the unanimous win, beating out Early Wynn. I'm surprised Wynn didn't get any first place votes, but congratulations, Spahn. His third one, first one in 3 years. Eddie Matthews unanimously wins the MVP in the AL. And in the NL, Mickey Mantle unanimously wins it for the Milwaukee Braves with his monster year, 43 home runs, 117 RBIs. He was second place in all the Triple Crown categories. Hank Greenberg finishing fifth for us, and Warren Spahn doing quite well as also. Now, when we go to the first-year player draft, there is one name as a Cardinal, and as a Cardinal fan, I wish I could get. Bob Gibson's in this one. We will not be getting anywhere near Bob Gibson, I'm sure. Matty Alou is in this one. Who else we have? Not a lot of others. The name I'm looking at is Jim Catt. So he's one, doesn't show up here, but I know that name. He lasted quite a while in the majors. And if we look, shows up basically in 1960. 1961 is when he starts to start, and he has a solid career. Great ERA in the late 60s and into the 70s. Longevity is his thing. He was able to put together 283 wins. I mean, he's a guy that he's going to carry us through the 60s into the 70s while we hopefully find somebody else. And we have a shot at him while we don't have any shot at Bob Gibson. But who knows? We could surprise ourselves. And maybe Gibson, they forget about. Probably not. Okay, so let's see the Phillies take Bob Gibson. There he goes. Red Sox are going to take Chris Short. Tony Gonzalez goes to the New York Giants. The White Sox take Mike Cuellar. Don Clendenon to the Pirates. Joe Gibbon to the Yankees. Claude Osteen to the Athletics. The Cubs take Don Pavlicich. Matty Alou goes to Orioles. Oh, look at that. My GM, my scouting director, thinks just like I do. They say to take Jim Catt. That is what we want to do. So with the 10th pick, we're going to take Jim Catt. Detroit, let's finish out the first round. Detroit's going to take Manny Mota. Cleveland goes with Joe Horner. Johnny Callison for the Cincinnati Redlegs. Brooklyn gets Dick Lines. The Braves take Dick McAuliffe. And then Bobby Bolin finishes it out for the Washington Senators. So we are going to finish the draft, go through the offseason, and get ready for the 1957 season. Here we are, 1957 opening day against Cincinnati Redlegs. We will be sending out Warren Spahn. So our lineup, main one is going to be Phil Rizzuto, Ken Boyer, Stan Musial. Both of these guys have speed, but Rizzuto's got a little bit better on base than Boyer. Bonnie Sorrell hits well, but he doesn't get on base as much. So Musial is going to be batting in front of Roy Sievers, whose power on this one is immense. So hopefully he does better than that 188 and 223 and 204 the last 3 years, getting some regular playing time. Rocky Colavito is going to be a starter for the first time for us as well, so hopefully he shows up. Bonnie Sorrell, then Monte Irvin, who's going to be rotating with Carl Furillo a lot. Roy Campanella as well, who's going to be trading off with our new acquisition. We did bring in Ed Fitzgerald. We traded away Bob Lee and John Berzhalt and Joe Garagiola. We traded away Ed Fitzgerald for Joe Garagiola. And so he's going to be one that we hopefully can ease in and take Campanella's spot. He's not as good defensively, but his hitting for the Phillies, he hit .305 last season. So I think he's going to be a better hitter, and he'll be a much better alternative than Ed Fitzgerald was at backing up Campanella. Our rotation is going to start the season as Warren Spahn, early win, Dave Barnhill back in the rotation again, and then Bob Friend with Hoyt Wilhelm being our closer and set up by ball player Gonzalez. Robin Roberts is in the bullpen. He did struggle in his career around this time. You'll see that 22 losses in 1957. His ERA was better, but he just got beat up quite a bit. He's still going to be solid, but he does have a resurgence once he gets to Baltimore. But he'll be potentially in the rotation at some point this season for at least a little bit. But we'll see how things play out. Hopefully better than these 84 and 85 win teams, and we can get back into the World Series is what we're hoping. Do notice Greenberg now is the career team record holder at 2,400 games. Musial is the leader in hits. Greenberg also passed Gehrig for home runs. And Lefty Grove, though, is still the leader in wins and strikeouts, although I would imagine Warren Spahn, who's been with us for most of it, is going to start approaching some of those numbers that Grove has, as well as early win. Although he started much later with us, he didn't really do much with Brooklyn. He's also, he's 120 wins off, so maybe not. But we'll see how things go as we get to the All-Star break. Well, at the All-Star break, looks good. We just won our last 2 games in a doubleheader against Cincinnati, but when we look at the standings, we are in 4th place. 9 games behind Cincinnati, just at 500. We can't score runs. Our starters are being horrible. We did put Robin Roberts in. He started off hot. We might have to take him back out. I don't know who we go with. Ron Klein is probably the next man up, maybe Lou Burdett, but we're struggling. Offensively, we did put Garagiola in for Campanella, who was struggling, and we are hoping to find something to really help us. I feel like we're doing better. Our batting average is first in the league. We're just not scoring runs. We're not driving in when we need to. No clutch hitting. So before we do anything, I want to take a look at the Hall of Fame voting results. Forgot to look at that. Luis Tiant, our guy, the ageless one, he was the only one inducted. And on his first ballot, Ernie Lombardi, who spent a little bit of time with us, almost got in. Turkey Stearns missed out. Thornton Lee did better this year, and Cool Papa Bell bounced up a little bit this year. Dick Lundy's another one. It's just, I can't believe he didn't get in with all those gold gloves, 2,600 hits, 1,100 runs, just one MVP as well, 3 Silver Sluggers, 11 gold gloves. Shocking he did not get in. But that's neither here nor there. Now, when we look at the standings, the Senators are again first place. Ted Williams and Gil Hodges and Duke Snyder and Minnie Minoso. That is a murderer's row lineup. And Hal Newhouser closing them out. Man, they are set. And they are only 1 game up against Cleveland, though. Is Joe DiMaggio still there? He's still there. And Eddie Matthews is having a solid season again. Not where he was last year, though. We have the batting average lead going to Joe Adcock right now at 329. Gil Hodges with 22 home runs and 64 RBIs leading the way. Jesse Kennedy has 20 stolen bases, beating out Minnie Minoso. Williams is leading in OPS. The batter war again goes to Eddie Matthews, beating out Roger Maris, who is on the scene now. We are still a few years away from his magical 61 home run year. Will be interesting to see if he can duplicate that. Joe Adcock has the high hitting streak at 18. Dick Donovan, a 2.48 ERA. The ERAs are way lower again. Harvey Haddix is showing up there again after a rough year last year. Dick Donovan with 12 wins as well. But Lefty Bo with 133 strikeouts. Herb's score has come down a little bit, but he's still third. He's just not dominating like he did the last couple years. Marv Grissom with 16 saves, tied with Clem Levine. Don Larson of Perfect Game World Series fame is up there as well. And then Lefty Bo is leading in pitcher war. In the NL, we have Dick Groat with a 344 average, Ernie Banks with 21 home runs, Hank Aaron and Stan Musial both tied with 64 RBI. Josh Gibson, look at that, 19 home runs, and he's hitting 272. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, has 63 RBI. Phil Rizzuto has 14 stolen bases with those 39-year-old legs. Jackie Robinson's back up there again with 10. He's not been up there for a little bit. That's awesome. Ernie Banks is leading an OPS over Rocky Colavito for us. Well done, sir. Well done. Charlie Neal is leading the batter war race, though. We have all kinds of different names up here. Interesting. Vic Power had an 18-game hitting streak. ERA, again, super low. Frank Sullivan leading the way with a 2.35. Wins are way lower. Nobody's at double-digit wins this time. Frank Barnes, Harry Breachin, and Sam Jones all at 9. Tom Sturdivant has 131 strikeouts, while Don Bessent's leading the way with 14 saves. And then the pitcher war goes to Tom Glover at 3.6. So when we check on our all-star selections, we will see a lot of familiar names. Garcia and Haddix and Billy Pierce getting the start. Marv Grissom getting the start. Smokey Burgess getting the start again. Joe Adcock, no surprise. Pat Patterson's up there again. Eddie Matthews, Minnie Minoso, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, and Jackie Jensen. Duke Snyder, Roger Maris, that is a heck of a lineup. In the NL, Billy Hoft getting his second one in a row. Didn't see his name last time. Gentry Jessup getting his second one. I'm missing these names. Leonardo Medina for the Cubs, his second one since 1950. He's one we traded away. We traded him to get Warren Spahn. I still think we've won that one. Speaking of Warren Spahn, he's been noted as the starter despite that horrible ERA going this year. Frank Sullivan, early win as well, struggling. Ballplayer Gonzalez is doing great in the bullpen at 5-1 with 2 saves as a setup man. Josh Gibson getting the start. Stan Musial at first base this year. Charlie Neal, Ken Boyer at third. Ernie Banks at short. Hank Aaron at left field. Mickey Mantle at center. And Al Kaline at right. But Rocky Colavito getting up there and getting himself an all-star appearance. So this is where we are. I think we're going to see, and if it gets late, I mean, I want the statistics. I want to see how they do, but we might mess around a little bit and let some of the young guys play for some of the aging ones and see if we can tank a little bit to get a little bit better of a draft pick. We haven't picked high in a very long time. I'd like to pick in the first 10 or the first 8, actually, if we're going to not make it. So we'll see where we go and what we can do. We are on a winning streak. We might turn it around. Who knows? We'll find out. Well, the season did not end as we hoped. We hit a lot of home runs. Finished second, this time third in runs scored, but fifth in runs against. Our starters got hammered this season. We ended up moving Robin Roberts back to the bullpen for Dave Barnhill again. Ken Boyer led the league in runs scored. Musial had the most home runs of his career so far. We had Campanella came back in because he was hitting the ball well. But as you can see, we finished in 5th place behind 13 games behind. Thankfully, we lost to the Cubs on the last day of the season. Otherwise, the last 2 games actually. Otherwise, we would have finished up 1 spot higher. But now we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams in front of us. Maybe 8, 9. I don't know how that tiebreaker. I hope they get to be after us and that we get to pick 7th instead. Now, the playoffs ended up being a rematch of the 1955 playoffs between Cleveland and Brooklyn. Cleveland was looking for their first championship in this series because Brooklyn won the last one, and last time they met was in 1955. But Brooklyn, behind Jim Pearsall and Hank Aaron and Al Kaline, they pulled it out in a 4-1 series where they actually blasted Cleveland in these last 4 after losing big in the first game. Eddie Matthews just didn't have what it took. Joe DiMaggio did not show up. So it was all about, I mean, they had Billy Pearson, Whitey Ford, and Harvey Haddix, but they got trounced by the Dodgers, winning their 3rd championship in this playthrough. Cleveland's still trying to find theirs. They haven't won since 1920. Maybe they'll get there soon. Now, to wrap this episode up, we're going to check out the leaders of each one. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, helps the channel if you do. It helps you follow along with what's going on as well. Well, Ted Williams won another batting title at 338. He also won the home run title at 36, missed a triple crown by 1 RBI when Gil Hodges, his teammate, beat him out, probably knocked in Williams to do so. Jesse Kennedy got 22 stolen bases. Ted Williams dominating the OPS race over Eddie Matthews, who nipped him in the batter war race. Charlie Maxwell's 19-game hitting streak held out. Arnie Portocarrero for the White Sox taking the ERA title out of nowhere. He does with a 2.47 ERA, 10-8 record, 75 strikeouts. Interesting. Lefty Bo, who had many more games pitched, actually 7 games more pitched, 2.59 ERA, 243 strikeouts. Harvey Haddix had 21 wins. Herb Score found his groove, had his best ERA yet, reduced his walks the most yet, 284 strikeouts. 1957 was the year he got hurt, so we'll see after next year what happens to him. I hope he does well. Marv Grissom had 31 saves. That's a new record. I believe the record was 30. We'll find out soon when we get to our 1960 season. Harvey Haddix with a 7.7 pitcher WAR. Batting average in the NL went to Willie Mays. Say hey, 344, beating out Mantle and Musial. Home runs go to Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, beating out Aaron and Mays. Man, what a glorious era for baseball, the 50s and 60s here. These names. Ernie Banks also got the RBI title, beating out Aaron and Mays. So Mays was up there in all 3 categories. He won the stolen base crown over Phil Rizzuto, who we sat down at the end of the season for Mazeroski because he got hurt for one and we just never put him back in. Mickey Mantle, 3 OPSs over 1,000 that we see. Mantle had the most. He also won the batter WAR and Mays, both topping 11 in WAR. Frank Robinson had a 20-game hitting streak. Pittsburgh is still not getting better. Koufax, do they want to trade Koufax? We'll find out in the offseason. He's washed up. Trade him away. Bill Wright had a 2.62 ERA. Tom Sturdivant, 19 wins and 209 strikeouts. Ike DeLocke with 26 saves and Tom Glover with a 6.5 ERA. This might be the first time ever, at least in memory that I have, that we did not have a pitcher show up in the top 3 for any category. Shows how much we struggled. We will hopefully get some help in this offseason, or hopefully some of these guys start to bounce back, because I know Warren Spahn, he was fantastic in his late 30s into his 40s, so he should be in his prime still. Early win. He's another one that was still very solid. Struggled a little bit in this era. Should still be good. Bob Friend should be as well. Ron Klein is showing up. Hoyt Wilhelm at the bullpen. We just struggled all together. Maybe I should have put Sal Magley back in there. He'll be retiring soon. This may have been a good year for him to get in there. But hindsight's 20/20, as they say. Want to thank you all for joining me on this one. We will be coming back for the 58 and 59 seasons before we step into the next decade on the next episode. So thanks again for joining me, and we will see you on the next season, on the next episode, to wrap up the 1950s.